welcome to another video of GPSpeaks. And today we have Sangeeta, who is mandala artist and she's a illustrator. She has done many beautiful work. The link is in the description for her Instagram profile. You guys can check out. So yeah, hi Sangeeta. How are you doing?
Hi Saurabh, I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good. So you said you are a mandala artist, right? So what exactly is mandala artist? Like this term is new for me, and I'm hoping it will be new for our audience also.
Yeah, I'd be happy to explain. Mandal means circle, basically. So, like, if I want to simply describe it, it means circle. But mandalas are these beautiful art forms which have concentric circles filled with beautiful patterns. Mostly mandalas have spiritual meaning, right? People practice it, yeah, for meditation to calm their anxiety, and that's exactly why I started it as well, because it's so calming and soothes you while you fill up those beautiful patterns, and also increases your patience and calms your mind. So yeah, that's what mandalas are. Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting. Like, it's really not what I thought about. Like, it's very different than I thought.
Yeah, you should try it out if you have a chance. I mean, just a tiny one, if possible. I can tell you that it's super calming and extremely helpful for mental health as well.
Yeah, I'll definitely like after this one, like after everything is done, I'm going to try that once to calm myself after the
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
So yeah, okay, so Sangeeta, on our platform, you are one of the new guests. So maybe know about something more about you, what exactly you have done, and how exactly you got introduced to the art and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually a computer science engineer. I did my master's from USA, and after that, I worked as a software developer at a multinational company for a while. When I moved to the USA, that's when I was introduced to mandalas. I was almost always homesick. I used to call my mom like 30 times a day, even though ignoring the time difference. That's when I started drawing these mandalas. One of my friends introduced me. I, to be honest, never thought that journey from, I think, 2016 will end up like I'll end up here where I do it for a living. But yeah, that's how I started. Also during in these many years, I think in 2017, I had I had a rough patch going on in my life, and in that one, there's this one inspiration that I need to talk about mental health and other issues through this tiny elephant who's a therapy elephant who's positive and like brings positivity. So that's how my character called Ganpat started.
Oh, okay. So now we know the history of Ganpat also.
Yes. And then I slowly introduced all
Sorry.
his friends and his girlfriend, Gaja Lakshmi. So yeah. That's what happened.
Oh, okay. That's really interesting. And what about their families? Like, are they on their way or something?
Their families, I haven't created like I'm trying to slowly create a family as well. But for now, there's a couple, elephant, and they have friends. That's all that exists in that world.
Oh, okay. So they are peacefully enjoying in their world.
Yes.
Okay. So as you said, you are into computer science, right? So have you done any you got introduced to mandalas? So have you done any course on mandalas or any designing course or anything?
I mean, I've taken a lot of online courses, but those are not specifically for mandalas as such. When I was introduced to digital art, my husband gifted me an iPad. I was like, I don't know if I deserve this, but yeah, I got it, and when I just started off, that's when I took a lot of online courses to how to use an iPad to draw, right? Like there are tons of softwares, applications. Which one should I use? Which one is better? Which one has better brushes? So yeah, I did online courses, not in my graduate program, but yeah, later in my life, I did a few online courses to understand how digital art works.
So we know how you found your interest towards mandala, right? So like because you were homesick and that's why you got drawn towards it.
Yeah.
But you also have a like a thing towards, like you have a style towards your art, right? So how did that evolve over a time?
Yeah. So, like, to be honest, first I want to say that I'm still finding my style. Even though it looks like that, it's a whole process, it's a journey. Right now, I'm at one point in that journey, and it may look like I found that style, but yeah, I can tell you how I reached there. I'll tell you both sides, right? Mandalas as well as my illustrations. So when I started with mandalas, I was like inspired by this artist called Lakshmi. You should check her Instagram out. Like highly inspired by her work. And one thing that she does is she blends two kinds of artworks together. So she draws mandalas and she uses like mythology and classical dancers and blends them to make these beautiful artworks. So that one thing was what I was highly inspired by. So slowly that inspiration became my own thing. So I started amalgamating two artworks as well. Like I did one whole series on Indian classical dancers, and now I'm trying to draw this series of all the Indian musical instruments used in classical music, right? So and amalgamate with mandalas to make it like so that it so the people can relate to it. Like this is Odissi dancer and she's all in mandala. So yeah, that's how I evolved to what I do now. Of course, I'm still yet to find my own concrete style. And for Ganpat Rao, yeah, it was as I told you, like in one. Uh, Suddenly I used to watch a lot of baby elephant videos as well. I was like obsessed, and it's like how would the world be if we had a therapy elephant, right? So I thought, why don't I make this super wise elephant who says all these adult kind of things that how to be positive and find for positivity and how to stand up for what's the things that are going wrong, like bullying or assault or whatever. So yeah, I wanted to have so many things to talk about, and yeah, I found this baby elephant through which I can like channel my inner positivity.
So as you said, you got inspired by Rashmi Krishnappa. And is there any other Indian artist whom do you admire or got inspired from?
Yeah, I mean, I think you might have heard this answer a lot of time, but Alicia Souza. I've been a big fan of her since God knows when. When I moved to Bangalore, the first thing I knew that I'm in the same city as her. So I have to find any opportunity there is where I can go and meet her. So I've been a big fan of her illustrations. They're cute, and I remember reading it somewhere. Someone said it perfectly. They said Alicia puts awe in the art, and that's exactly what she does. So her cuteness quotient is extremely high. So yeah, I've been a fan and highly inspired by the cuteness that she brings to her illustrations.
Wow, that's really nice. So finally you met her, right?
I did, yes, I did this year, and it was amazing, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah. So can you just share the experience, how that went? How did you met?
Yeah. So she had published her own book of her story with her husband with illustrations, and she had a meet and greet here. And she previously had one, and I couldn't go because I had an accident, and I couldn't move. Like I couldn't get out of my bed, but this time I had to make sure. So I went and I took an autograph. It was a very brief meeting, right? She was meeting so many people, but I was there for like I think some 30 seconds. But I remember she was extremely sweet and kind and smiling to everyone. Even I mean, it's exhausting to be able to meet so many people, sign everyone's book, and talk to them for a few seconds. But she was not at all impatient. She was so sweet. So yeah, it was amazing. I still have that autograph. I'll just cherish it for life.
Yeah, that's
I'm a
really really
creepy
interesting.
fangirl when it comes to her.
Yeah, that's a really interesting story. Where do you find the inspiration? Like, how do you find your inspiration to create illustration and like different kind of artworks that you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, for my illustration with the baby elephants, I take inspiration from my own life. Whatever tiny life lessons I might have learned from my past, I use that to tell a story through him. And same goes for everything that I believe in. Like, I truly believe that bullying shouldn't exist at all in any way possible, but it does. And I want to tell a story through him, that how you can be a better human being and how you can help someone who you see is going through it, right? And as when I was a kid, I had gone through it, and I wish that I had someone who would protect me, and all of these things. So I take inspiration from my own life and try to make tell a story through him. And for mandalas, as I told you, like, I come from a family full of artists, all kinds of, like, performing artists, visual artists. So I try to like blend in those, like, my mandala artwork as well as the other artwork, right? I'm still learning how to do it. It's not like I know it, but that's been my biggest inspiration so far. Like, to find in the journey of me being able to find my style. That's how I want my style to be, like an amalgamation of two kinds of artwork. So yeah, let's see. I'm hoping that I'll slowly be able to, as I said, I'm still learning. So let's see where this takes me.
What exactly is your creative process is, and when you have your creative blocks, like how do you overcome it?
Yeah, that's again a good question. So first I'll answer how I think of an artwork, like the steps that I usually have. So I get an idea of an artwork in weirdest places. Like, I am out with my friends and I'll just see something and I'll have an idea कि अरे ये बन सकता है, अरे वो बन सकता है. But I usually always jot these down in a notebook that I carry. Like, always, I have tons of ideas written. Not all of them are implemented, but yeah, that's my first step. If I have even like a blurred idea about something, I just write it down. The next is, I always have, when I decide to implement those ideas. So let's say I decided one. I always have like a sketch in my mind, like how it should look. So like a skeleton kind of a thing, which always I keep in my mind, and that helps me to put something on paper, right? I cannot just start with the details. I have to make a sketch, and for me to make a
Yeah,
sketch, I need to have a skeleton ready in my mind somewhere. So I make this skeleton, make the changes, whatever it needs, and then fill in the details. So that's like a simple process that I have when it comes to drawing. And as you asked, that what I do when I have a creative block, which happens a lot, more than people think about it. It happens quite a few times to artists, right? And when and the pressure as well. Like, when you start posting on social media, there's this, I don't know, you feel like you're responsible. You have this responsibility to post every day, which is not at all the case. You should take a break every time you feel like you have a creative block, first. Second, if you are an illustrator or a sketch artist, always try to make something, right? They can be lines, circles, like random things, but just put something on the paper. I recently realized that really helps. it slowly helps you to have an idea. Like it's like a blank canvas, right? And you're unable to put something, so just put anything, keep putting something every day, and one day you'll be like, I think I have an idea. So I guess, yeah, and also don't be very hard on yourself if you have a creative block, please. I've seen people doing that. It's totally okay. Happens in any profession, right? I've also been a
Yeah.
coder. There are times when just you cannot figure out a bug, even though it was just a semicolon, like as tiny as that. So yeah, it happens in all kinds of fields. So please don't be unkind to yourself. That's all.
So as you said, you first do a sketch on a paper, right? And nowadays, like digital era, you have to get it on digital thing, right? You have to make it on laptop or iPad or any other digital platform. So, which do you prefer? Do you prefer like making sketches like on pencil and paper, or do you prefer making on a digital platform like a iPad or a computer or something like that?
Right. So initially I used to do it on paper, but the more I learned, like now I'm being able to handle my, like, how I used the Apple Pen. Basically, I've had a long journey till I figured out how to use it. But now, yeah, I find it extremely easy to draw a sketch on an iPad. So now I just go ahead and draw it on an iPad rather than wasting a paper if at all anything goes wrong. So yeah, for me, I personally feel that iPads or a digital medium is better, I guess, to draw the sketch.
Okay, so now let's come to your corporate, like not corporate, but let's come to your work life. So you must be having a lot of client, and I'm sure like client must be giving you feedbacks on your creative when you give them, right? So how do you take that creative, and how, like if you disagree with them, so how do you have a conversation with them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So thankfully, I've had clients who were understanding and knew what kind of work I do till now. But yeah, sometimes there are disagreements in what they're looking for. And of course, I try to go a little more technical when I'm trying to explain that this can't happen and why it can't. And I'm always extremely polite. I'm patient, and because they're paying for my service, I'm patient and I always ask them more questions. And when I realize that it's something that can't be done, then I try to go more technical to make them understand why it won't. Thankfully, I have not had like I've always had clients who were extremely understanding. They knew what kind of work I do. They followed my work, so they had an idea. And I always like I send them whatever I'm making, so that at every step, so that they can let me know if there are any changes or there's something else that they want me to do. And if the end results are if they find it they're not happy with it, they usually I ask them more questions to understand why they're not happy with it, right? Like, of course, they're paying me for a service, so I am always extremely polite and try to understand what is it in this that they're not happy with. As I ask more questions, I do realize what it is. If the changes are doable, I definitely do it. But if not, I try to make them understand why. So I I go into technicalities as to why it can't happen. And thankfully, all of them have understood till now. And if they don't, I try to ask further questions to make it clearer why it can't happen, what can happen and can't happen. So yeah, that's how I mean tackle. I don't know. That's how I talk to my clients when they don't understand or like my end result. I guess.
So when you get all the content that you need to create or to start a project, so like what is the process? Do you start your project, and how do you get to know your like yeah, this is done, this is the end result of my project?
Yeah. So when I'm dealing with a client, uh, like even when I'm starting off a project with a client, I usually ask them a set of questions. So I have an idea about what is it that they're looking for. I always have it. Like, I first send them the set of questions, I get the answers. If I have further questions, I ask them. If not, I get an idea, I start working on it, and I step by step send whatever I'm drawing to them so that they have an idea how I'm going about it and if our understanding about the project is in sync, right? And that usually helps. And as you also asked, like, when do you know that the project has ended? You know it when the client is 100% satisfied with what you've made or done, right? If you are face to face showing them, the expressions are priceless when you know that they absolutely love what you've made. So yeah, that's when I know that the project, is finished, has come to an end.
So like as we are talking about the art, so like may I know like what are the like what your work as an artist like taught you about yourself, like about your personalities, and it might surprised you a little or something like that.
Yeah. The one thing that I realized about myself is I have patience. I have a lot of patience. I always thought I didn't and used that as an excuse all the time. Anymore. I have patience. When I lose it, I know how to get it back because I've seen it. Like mandalas I've drawn on walls and whatnot. If I was patient enough to finish those, I should be patient in every situation. So yeah, that surprised me, and thankfully in a good way. That's a good realization, right?
Yeah, it is like you know that you are patient enough, then
Yeah.
yeah, like my next question is on that note only. Like
Okay.
when you get a feedback before you publish your artwork or before like it's complete, so how do you deal with those feedback?
Yeah, that's a really good question, right? So definitely, like, it's like a pinch, right? It hurts. It feels you feel off. But I think it's also like one of the reasons why you want to grow or improve your art when you get such feedback. So initially, when I was just new and I didn't even have it as a career, art. Whenever I'd get like a bad feedback, I'd feel sad. But with time, as I grew and my art grew, I realized that all of those feedbacks do help in improving your art and yourself. So yeah, with time I think I've been able to deal with it pretty well. Of course, it always hurts a bit. Let's face it, we are humans.
Yeah.
Negative feedbacks can be, okay, but yeah, I try to turn it and see the positivity, positive side of it, not positivity, the positive side of it. Like, yeah, I can use this to probably make a better artwork. So yep.
My next question is like when I was going through your Instagram profile, I saw that you use very specific colors in your sketches and your posts and your images. So, like, is there any specific reason that you use those specific colors, or in your illustration, or is the it's just like the mood, or like it's just the flow of it?
So when it comes to colors, I feel that less is more.
Uh,
I am, when it comes to mandalas, I hardly use colors. I am a sucker for black and white mandalas. I feel they look neater. This is just a personal choice, right? When it comes to mandalas, that's how I feel. I feel they look more, they look prettier when they're black and white, and lesser usage of colors. Like, there's this dancer mandala where I just use her fan in red, rest of it is black. So I like a subtlety in usage of colors when it comes to mandalas. And for my illustrations, as you said, yes, I always keep this one tone, so that everyone knows which character is what. I am slowly trying to experiment with colors. I'm trying to have more intricate backgrounds of mountains or beaches and play with colors. But I still keep these colors very light rather than brighter ones. I somehow, it's a personal choice. I think that it sets the mood that way. Like it feels calm, and that's the idea, right? When you see
Yeah.
them, you should feel calm and happy. So yeah, that's the idea. But I should research more. That's a good question. I should research more about colors and usage of colors in an art.
Okay. Wow, that's really nice. Okay, so I think I am done with my questions. So the last thing I would like to ask is there any advice that you would like to give to the aspiring artists or aspiring creative professionals who are right now getting into the field?
Um, what I would say first is be patient. Be patient. I get a lot of DMs sometimes asking how to grow my followers, how to grow my likes. It's all fine. I do understand. Everyone wants validation. But be patient. Just focus on improving your artwork, which whatever kind it is. Like you're a photographer, someone is a mandala artist, a painter, or a performer. Just be patient. Just for a few months or even sometimes 1 year, just focus on improving it. And when you come to a stage, you'll automatically, organically get followers or likes or even work actually. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Be patient, be kind, be happy, and love what you do, and you'll just organically find whatever you're looking for, whatever your goal is. And like I see a lot of people just giving up. So don't give up. If it is your thing and you love it, do not give up. It's just a hobby and you're like, I'm on and off about it, that's fine. But if it's the thing that you love and you're passionate about it, do not give up. Just keep on going. And one more thing about social media, right? It just demotivates you so easily. Like this, so as you said, there's so much competition. Even if like you are a watercolor artist and there's one more watercolor artist out there and she has like 80,000 followers and you have like 800, and it just somehow I see people get as well. But I slowly learned this is just social media. It has its own algorithm. We cannot play with it, right? We just need to do
Yeah.
what we do, keep improving ourselves in however way we can, in whichever way we can, and that's all. That's the advice that I want to give.
Uh, that's really nice. Okay, so is there any other closing comments you would like to say or you would like to address to our audience?
First of all, I absolutely love this. I got to dress up and all that for this interview. Thank you so much, Saurabh. You're very sweet and kind. I absolutely
I'm,
love this.
I'm
And
glad.
yeah, and when answering these questions, I also realized that how far I've come since the day I started, and it feels great. So it was such a like mood booster for me to be able to answer these questions. Thank you so much, Saurabh. You guys are like super sweet and so happy to be a part of this.
We are really glad to hear all of this. We are just trying to get our artists to not to get demotivated by social media by doing
Right?
this.
Yeah, exactly. So don't. That's all I'm going to say. Don't. Force yourself not to. Think about all the positive aspects of your life. Do not get demotivated by something like social media, external validation. We don't want that. So, I mean, we want it, but not always.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get demotivated, try to draw mandalas. If you can't draw it, come to Sangeeta's Instagram profile
Yes,
and see some mandalas and have some
yes.
elephant therapy.
Yes, always welcome. You are welcome to even take reference of my drawing and draw. That's also fine. I always encourage. If I'm being able to help in someone's learning process, I'm happy to do so.
thank you so much, Sangeeta, for taking out time and having this conversation. And I really appreciate doing so much. Like, you create so much interesting art. I was just going through your Instagram profile, and I see like so much. Like just the feed makes me calm myself. Like, I'm just
Oh,
getting out of words. I am not getting words to say.
thank you so much, Saurabh.